Okay. Hey, everybody. If you're here, say hi so I know who's around. And hopefully you can hear me today. I think I have it set up right. Hi, Jesse. Give it a minute or two, see if anybody else pops in. Awesome. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Samantha. That's awesome. Now, I do have to warn you guys, I did post in the community that the daughter in law called me and said things are starting to move along. We're not sure when she will decide to head into the hospital, but it could be any time now. So I figured we'd still go ahead with the live. And if I get the text saying leaving for the hospital, I'll just have to end it early because they'll be dropping off their other child, my older granddaughter, to stay with me for the next couple days while they're in the hospital. So, yay, Lincoln is finally going to make his arrival. Probably, Jesse. That's why I figured if I canceled the live, she'd, drag this out for another 12 hours or something. But if I did the live, I could almost guarantee that sometime in the next hour, I'm going to get the phone call saying, we're heading to the hospital now. We're getting ready to drop Aubrey off to you. So I figured if I still had the live, we could pretty much speed this thing up. I know, isn't it? I love it. I tried to talk him. Well, their older daughter, my granddaughter Aubrey, she's 7. She tried to talk them into naming him Thor, but my daughter-in-law would not go for that. So they compromised on Lincoln, and they'll call him Link. And then we have the whole Legend of Zelda, thing. So they're happy there. But yeah, the granddaughter really, really wanted her baby brother to be named Thor. Her first choice was actually, uh, oh my gosh, I am sitting here drawing an absolute blank now. I Never mind. I can't remember what the first name was, but they told her no on that one, so she went with Thor, and they said no to that too. So we have Lincoln, and I do too. I think it's a really awesome name. So no, it wasn't Mario. In this is a terrible, terrible thing because I am. Oh, it was Thanos. I am just a terrible MCU geek, but for some reason, Thanos, the name just like completely escaped me there for a few minutes. And they told her no, they wouldn't name him after the bad guy in Endgame. So she was upset with that. She really liked Thanos. Yeah. I don't know why she she just did. And like I said, when they said no to Thanos, she went with Thor. They said no to Thor, so she's happy with Lincoln. But alrighty. So yeah, Thanos, Rebecca. I know. I'm like, really? Why? He's the bad guy. And her logic was he's kind of purple, and she thought that was cool. See, I would have gone with Loki. To me, yeah, Loki would have been much, much, much better. Kid Bowser, that one's cute. Yeah. Yeah. She wasn't a real fan of the Mario movies though, so uh, but I like Loki way better. Alrighty, so let's jump in. If there is anything you guys want to look at, let me know. We will start wherever you want today. I think, let me think, it's been a few weeks, so we might see some new stuff in here. So let's look at, okay, let's do, um, we'll go in here to clip art, even though that's not what we're looking for. We will do wind spinner PNG and see what we have. All right, elephant here on the front page, mother of dogs. That's cute. That is cute. Hummingbirds, flamingo. Those are pretty much the same. I'm seeing a little more competition for these now, though. Are you seeing this? A little more competition for the wind spinners. Christian designs, absolutely. Father's Day is a great idea. Yes. Um, but yeah, these wind spinner designs, a lot of them are the same or similar, but I'm seeing more competition. So you can tell they are definitely moving up in popularity. Uh, let's look at, let's click on beginner friendly and see if that changes anything for us. Well, it certainly did drop down our competition levels, so that's always nice. Um, this is a nice set. This says 50. It's a bundle, this particular one, but Wind Spinner PNG Cowgirl. It only has 49 competition for that particular keyword, the Wind Spinner PNG Cowgirl. And we're looking here, 3 top sellers for this keyword. Recent sales, 3, 2 from the first listing, 1 from the second. And let's look down here at the bottom. No clear seasonality. I mean, I don't know about that. I think wind spinners tend to be more of a spring and summer purchase. So I would imagine that designs for wind spinners would be. But I guess people buy them any time of the year. And if you live in a warm climate, you use them any time of the year. I'm thinking like a Pennsylvanian, and we just got through winter, so now would be the time when we would just start buying those things. But other locations buy them all year round. Let's look here. Okay, we're showing 2 of 49 listings on the first page had recent sales, at least 1 during the past week. The first one, see, that's a bundle. But just the designs themselves, I like the kind of like boho Western, Southwestern style. Those are nice. I like them. I think that's about ridiculous. 90 or 50 designs for under $3. But again, that's something we just, this one is nice. The cowboys at the cross with the horses. Um, that had a sale yesterday. And like I said, we're looking at pretty recent sales here. Cowboy boots was last week. The hat over the cowboy boots here was last week. Now you're, getting down there. But again, there's only 49 listings. I am neither one, Jesse. I am neither one. I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I am a San Jose Shark fan. No, yeah, hockey. I don't really watch it. I only watch it with my son, and he's a Sharks fan. So I am NFL. I am waiting for the draft to start now. But the wind spinner designs look, the cowboy ones, the wind spinner PNG cowgirl. There's only 49 competitions, so there's definitely room in there to uh, make some designs. Let's do, um, Jesse, you said Father's Day. Any particular product or just Father's Day in general? Well, we'll look for Father's Day. PNG. Let's see what we got. Clip art, Tumblr, SVG. Look, sounds good. I just did Father's Day PNG, so that's going to bring us up a few things. All right. Happy Father's Day footprint. That's pretty cool. 3 listings have had sales this week, and competition is only 45 for Happy Father's Day footprint PNG. Let's see what this says. These are kind of cute. I like them. I've always, you see the Santa Claus boot ones, but this is the first time I've really taken notice to Father's Day footprint. 46 listings, 11 recent total orders. So that looks pretty good. Footprint PNG, dad. Let's scroll down here. Father's Day gift, personalized dad kid footprint. Obviously, this is Father's Day, so this would be something, if you wanted to make something like this, I would start working on it ASAP and get them up. Here we go. 8 sales this month. Today was their last one. Last week. Then we have the handprint kind of things. Those are more personalized though. Here's one last month, but it is just now starting to be the time of year when people start buying for dad. These are kind of cute. You could absolutely list these without the names, and people could add their own name on the little feet. I like that. Um, but yeah, we're talking, it's a little, see, here's people just now getting some of these listed. Right here, it went up today and on a mug wrap. The footprint and the little feet. That's pretty, I like that. But yeah, now's the time when people are just starting to get these listed. So I wouldn't expect to see a ton of movement on them quite yet. I know we say get your designs up early, but people shop late. They always do. Always do. Um, Donuts with the names, 9 listings on the first page had sales this week, 92 competition. That's really good. Donuts with Dad, PNG. So let's look down through here. 16 recent total orders, 91 listings. Sales have occurred consistently this month, suggesting no strong seasonality, but ongoing interest in donut-themed products. So there you go. If you pair dad with donuts, I guess you can sell it all year long. Yeah, that would pair nicely with the watercolor military boots, the father footprints. I like them. Let's see what it says over here about donuts with dad, PNG. All right, we're looking today. This one says NA, yet it was, let's look here. I'm not seeing, okay, no sales on this one yet. But that is really, now here we have like a donut couples. These are cute. Donut couples. Those look cute. That particular one hasn't had any sales recently. It did this month. All right. Here's one that was just, I want you to, All right. If you're offended by adult themes, don't read this one. I want you to glaze my hole. All right. That's your donuts. All right. No, no sales on that one. Well, this month it had some, and it was just listed in February. So, but that's not really looking for dad much at all. Dad with donuts. I'm seeing that it says dad's donut with dad. Donuts with dad is the search term, but I'm not really seeing any results that are actually relevant. I know, right? You never know what you're going to find on Insight Factory. Um, but I'm really not seeing a whole lot of products here that actually have anything to do with donuts and dad, other than this one image where it just says dad in donut lettering. So, I mean, if you could come up with some ideas that really bring donuts with dad together, I might try and list some of them before Father's Day. That one isn't bad at all. Yeah. That was, I'm going to have to remember to tell my husband about that one. He'll think that one's funny. All right. We've got these cute, hi, Diane. We've got these cute Dad of the Wild One PNG. 192 competition, but we're looking at recent total sales, 53 orders in the last period. So that's pretty good sales signal. Does not explicitly indicate seasonality, but the focus on birthday themes. So uh, even though this really isn't Father's Day related, it is dad related. So Dad of the Wild One PNG, and they might some people might buy something like this around Father's Day. This one, 11 sales yesterday, and that was just listed in February. It's 18 designs, which is a nice size for a little bundle, I think. And this one here we have Daddy of the Wild One, Gigi of the Wild One. That is a really cute design there. I like that. Little African safari animals with the monstera leaf and things like that. So that one's had 11 sales, about 11 sales a month. This one's 9, had last sale yesterday. Again, we're looking at Cousin of the Wild One. And yes, these are more for birthdays, but because we searched for dad, these came up. So this is a really good, I would look into something like this in different themes, perhaps, because these all seem, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it looks like they're all themed the same animals, the elephant, the giraffe, all of those. If you could do something, Printify mock-up shop, just doing mock-ups, yeah, that's a very good niche. Everybody uses mock-ups, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, these all seem the same style in here with the same animals. If you did something, I think a little different, maybe. Um, there are a lot of reptile lovers out there. If you did a Wild One bundle and used, let's say, lizards and pythons and, uh, different types of animals, I think it could be successful because, like I said, these are all focused on the same theme, the cute, cuddly animals that, will still rip your face off if you ever met one in the wild. So why not go with reptile themes or something like raccoons and garbage cans? Absolutely. For Wild One, yeah, that would work too. Just do something a little different than what these guys are doing, and I think you could be successful. But Dad of the Wild One, PNG. So that's, 178 results. 10 have had 10 of the 100 listings on the first page had sales, at least one sale during the past week. Yeah. Absolutely, there's a market for reptiles. I don't think people think about that enough. You think of, excuse me, cute and cuddly animals. One second. I am so sorry for that. Um, but people don't think that reptiles are all that, but there are a lot of reptile lovers out there. Can you guys still hear me? I didn't like muff up my headset when I pulled it off my ears to cough, did I? Hmm. I hope not. Okay. Yeah, snakes, bearded geckos. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think those are a neglected niche when it comes to animals, for sure. I'm so sorry. It is spring here and allergies just have 1 second. Allergies just have the best of me. My throat is all scratchy and just ridiculous. No, you do not get your surprise today. I had some major bugs that I still need to fix. Um, I had really thought I had it completed, and then I started trying to test it and run it through some pretty good trials, and I found some pretty significant bugs. And I'm doing this on my own. I am not using the smart sun to help me with this. So, it's taking me a little longer than I had anticipated. Yes, I had promised a surprise the other day. I have something really big in the works that is going to help you guys with organization, workflow, things like that. And so it's taking me just a hair longer than I had hoped, you know. So, but that's what you get when, I dive into something probably a little bit bigger than I can handle. So, but I will have it done by in the next day or two. I think that's what it is. I should blame Lincoln. That's what it is. All right. So here we have Dad of the Birthday Cowboy, which is crazy because I clicked on this surviving fatherhood one beer at a time. This is the image that I clicked on, and this is what I thought we would see. So I let me click out of here because this whole focus on dad surviving fatherhood PNG. Let's go. There we go. Okay. So here we have our surviving fatherhood one beer at a time. These are nice, I think, for Father's Day, and they're showing some pretty good sales signals. Surviving fatherhood one beer at a time PNG. Very few, well, 193 listings competing for this keyword, which is very nice. Very nice. And let's scroll down here. Obviously, noticeable increase in sales around Father's Day, suggesting a seasonal trend in demand for fatherhood themed products, which makes perfect sense. All right. And sorry, my phone just went beep and I had to look quick. Doing dad shit. Yeah, I have time to start doing designs like that for sure. But let's look at this one up here, the surviving fatherhood one beer at a time. Let's see what we're looking at. All right. So we've got 3 of the listings have had a sale this past week. And again, we are just now starting to move into that Hopefully, it all depends on Lincoln, if we'll still be on or not. Hopefully we will be. Yeah, A Real Hero, those are great. Dad in the Fishing Niche, absolutely. But like I said, don't get too wrapped up in the number of sales in the past week on these designs because, people are just now starting to think of Father's Day. Um, so now is the time we should be making these and getting them in our shops. Really, we should have probably had them. We could have been working on these all through April. I hope some of you were. Um, if not, we'll, hit home on the Father's Day in the next week or so and get them listed. But here we've got today, this week, this week, this week, this week, this month, last week, this month. So we are seeing movement here in the Father's Day themed designs. This one is just, a basic, single color or gradient color, um, which looks pretty nice. I like that design, and you can do it on white, on black, whatever you want. Um, that's had 2 sales this week. And you have your basic PNG or SVG, whichever you want it to be, right here. Again, that's probably just, it's in 9 carts, so that's good. We're showing some good movement and things like that. Let's check this one out quick with Dad in the lawn chair. I am really surprised that this one isn't in any carts. That is shocking. Of course, it could be because the shop owner is using trademarked and copyrighted um, characters for their shop name and logo. I'll never understand. Anyway, so yeah, any type of dad designs, like I said, it's really starting. People, we tell you to design early, that people shop early, uh, but truth is, some people shop early. Most people wait and shop later, but you still want to get it up so it's in the algorithm and had time for Etsy to figure out what it is and put it where it wants it to be. But I do like these surviving fatherhood one beer at a time designs. Those are cute. All right, let's look. Let's just do let's see, that's all I did was surviving fatherhood. Let's do fatherhood PNG. And then once we have a quick look here, then we'll move on to some more Christian designs. This one is super easy. 296 competition. And text score is 100, indicating high relevance. Nice. Father's Day, humorous dad. Increased sales around Father's Day, of course. The dad, dada, daddy, dad, bruh. This week, last week. Then we have some here that say no sale. But this was just listed just what, 7-8 days ago. Again, a lot of these are newer listings. People are just getting them up for Father's Day. The ones here that have had recent sales are older listings that have been up for a while, but that's always a good list, a good design. You can do it in a variety of ways, not just in like this retro 70s style grunge. There are definitely other ways to do it. Let's look at this one. What did this one? This one just looked crazy colorful to me. Now, I'm not a fan of these. I'm not a fan of these. Now, this one's all right, I guess. It's still a little too busy for me, but I like the letters with the Marvel characters inside of them. Of course, you really shouldn't be selling those. So, while I might make one of those, I certainly wouldn't sell that design. So I'm not a fan of those though. They're just, I don't know, too busy. Too busy, way too busy. So let's go back and scroll through here a little bit more. Dad of a Warrior. Okay, that one is, yeah, see, this is already warning you that this could be a problem because of the autism or some, probably. What is trademarked or copyrighted? Warrior? I'm not sure. Dad of a Warrior. Let's see what this says in here, if it tells us anything. It's got to be something about autism, and that's why it's copyrighted. Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't see anything in here about it, but it tells us right here. Um, so I'd probably stay away from that one. Then we have the Ain't No Hood Like Fatherhood. Those designs, 13 on the first page, had sales this week. Fatherhood shirt, SVG PNG, 790 competition. I don't know. Is it maybe Data of a Warrior? I don't know. Dad of a Warrior copyright. Okay, here it is. Copyrighted. Uh, let's see. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to look into that further, but this one is claiming a copyright, but I don't know how accurate that is. Somebody just said they're copyrighted, and they could be full of crap. But I don't see anything about it, so that's really confusing to me. I'll have to look into that more. Fatherhood shirt, Ain't No Hood Like Fatherhood, sales yesterday. Um, Here's like a bundle of dad shirts. Dad jokes are how I roll. Oh, that's definitely a dad joke. That's cute though. I like that. So a bundle like this would be a great idea. 5 or 6 t-shirt designs for dad, or 5 or 6 tumbler designs, whatever. But this one is in 5 carts. So that's not bad. And these designs are super easy to do in ideogram. Really easy to knock these out in something like that, or similar designs. Here's another one, a bundle of like 6, and they just change up the fonts a little, colors, and those are a nice set, nice bundle. But yeah, we are seeing the movement this month, this week, yesterday. So these are all, some that you might want to look into for the Father's Day trend, the season that should be coming up on us anytime now. All right. So, Christian designs, any particular product you wanted for those? Let me scroll back up here and find that comment. See who it was, because there we go. Leanne's Craft Room. Is there any, just PNGs? All right. PNG. And mind you, these are all in the beginner friendly. So these are all with competition levels lower than 2,500 and good sales signals in the recent time, like last week or two. All right. Spanish Bible, motivational quotes, Tumblr wrap. Um, 10 listings on the front page had sales and only 23 competition. Again, I do not speak Spanish, but if anyone, that is a really long keyword. Holy Hannah. That is a major long tail keyword. You would need to break that up a lot, but you could. But these are all Spanish, motivational quotes, Bible quotes. Like I said, if you speak Spanish, this would be a great design to get in. 8 sales this week, 7 sales this week, 4 sales this week, 4 sales this week, 3 sales, yesterday, this week. So this is definitely a good niche. Um, but that is one seriously long tail keyword. That is crazy. But you could break this down: Spanish Bible, motivational quotes, 20-ounce skinny tumbler, sublimation designs, tumbler wrap PNG, do it yourself, Christian gift for her. You could break that down into several different tags, and Etsy will mush them together anyway. So that one would be pretty good. Then here we're looking at the Christian Easter PNG cross. I don't really, obviously we're not, you're not going to see a whole lot of searches now for Easter. But you could definitely try this Christian PNG cross sublimation, uh, and go that route, because I don't really see any of these three are actually uh, Easter related. They're not talking about like the resurrection or anything like that specifically. Um, I mean, I'm looking John 3:16, so let's look down here. Easter themed products, likely seasonal spike in sales leading up to end Easter. Um, but I think Christian designs are evergreen. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That was just crazy and this is another really long tail keyword or phrase. But again, you can break these down into your tags, and even if they don't make sense to you, like you could do Christian Easter, you could do PNG cross, you could do sublimation designs, you could do watercolor clip art, and then you could do aesthetic. Whoops, I don't know why that drug that. You could do aesthetic PNG then. And it's okay if they don't all make sense to you, because Etsy will mush them together and make them make sense. It is, I mean, we're running up on the end of time to list for Memorial Day, but I would say if you can get some up in the next few days, you should still be all right. It still gives Etsy a couple weeks to, get in there. And if you list something and you possibly run an ad for it, really low cost ad. I'm not talking go crazy and spend, $20 a day on anything Memorial Day. But if you did, a budget of maybe $1 a day, $2 a day, um, I think you could still get some sales on newly listed items for Memorial Day. But these designs, we're still looking at, today, last week, this week, this month, um, last month. Christian designs are always popular. This particular long tail keyword is just insane, but you can always do any type of Christian design and have it be popular or have it be relevant. It is definitely evergreen. Anything with Bible verses and stuff like that. They do seem to be really big in this watercolor panel uh, style right now. I'm seeing a ton of Christian designs in that style. Um, But this one, Christian hat patches, PNG, I'm not sure why it showed up for that because we're talking PNGs, but still, here we go. This one's cute. Praying Mama for hats. And that's a product we don't talk enough about. That, just hat designs are nice and small, and you make them so they fit on a trucker cap. And you and I might think to ourselves, well, if I make a design this size, people can resize it and use it on anything. Yeah, okay, Jesse. You are not, I doubt very much you guys are going to be the 51st state next year. That would be something, wouldn't it? Yeah. But what I was saying is, we don't think enough. We think as a designer that it's easy to resize things and put them on anything we want. But you would be surprised at how many people have have a printer for sublimation, have the heat presses and things like that, but really don't know how to resize and make this design work for this product. So, it's important to think about that, how you could take a design that you made for a t-shirt, and I'm going to show you this right here. She has it showing up on a t-shirt and a tote bag and, all different uh, products, but she is listing it as a trucker hat patch PNG. So, list them as different, list your designs for different products. That way you get them. And here it says the width is 14, the height is 16 inches. Um, so even if that is huge, but it's ready for a t-shirt too. Uh, but you could absolutely make something like this and then list it several times. List it several times. List it as a tote bag PNG. List it as a t-shirt PNG. List it as a hat PNG. That is, getting 3 different product listings out of one design, saving you time, saving you headache, and getting more eyes on your designs. Here's another one. It looks like it's the same seller, but that's the watercolor brushstroke panels, and there it is listed as for shirts, for hats. I don't see it showing it on a tote bag this time, but it can be used on anything like that. All right. But he took the nails for me. That is a popular one, but that is absolutely Easter themed. I mean, I think that still sells any time of the year. All right. Here we have She Loves Jesus in America Too. I am not sure. I don't know too much about song lyrics and how well, how you can use song lyrics. I see them all the time. Um, I think they're okay for the most part. Yeah, it is a song lyric. I love that song. And now it's an earworm. It's going to be in my head the rest of the day unless I come across another song lyric that knocks it out. Um, but yeah, I don't like the idea of using song lyrics too much. There you go. Okay. I knew there was something in there and I just couldn't think of which one it was off the top of my head. Right. Okay. No, I think you're right, Rebecca. It's the lyrics that are copyrighted, the titles are not. I knew there was one or the other, and I just couldn't work it out in my brain right now because I am thinking about babies. So this one here, this little watercolor design is cute. The Lord Provides Christian PNG. Now, that's a decent sized keyword. And oh, look, I'm seeing like this rustic Western, Old West style here. Um, 16 sales in the last month, 3, 1. But again, I don't know, without clicking in, we're not sure when that was made. And of course, as in most Christian themed designs, there is nothing that indicates a seasonality, that these are consistent. I know I can't wait to see them. So let's click in here and see what this says. All right, 13 sales this month today. They had one. This one is Jesus feeds the 5,000. We've got a design with fishes and loaves, and that's really cute. 6 views in the last 24 hours, and they have made sales this week. Let's see what this one looks like. Where the Lord guides, the Lord provides. Yeah, and we're doing this Western theme, and I like that theme, but I think you might be able to, branch out from that, because that is all I'm seeing is the Western themed, the Lord provides. And I understand that, like boho Western and all that kind of stuff is trendy, but I'm not so sure that, and the vintage Western, I'm not sure that that's the style for everyone. So I think there's room in here to perhaps make some more uh, styles. There we go. Now this one was just listed, but even this, they're using the brushstroke panels, but they're still using this vintage Western style. Look at which PNG is trending right now. Well, for what? What niche? I mean, for a particular product. Um, it's really hard to just look at PNGs and, um, I mean, if I had to say off the top of my head, PNGs trending right now would be uh, summer or, Christian themed, because we just had Easter. But I mean, I can go here and just type in PNG, and it's just going to be just a mix. For June and July. It's again, that's what we're looking at. Things that are starting to sell now are going to be picking up in June, July, depending on the niche. Uh, you really need to dig down. Um, you really can't just look at a PNG, just search for PNG and find the trend. You really need your sub niches. Like uh, here we have our baseball PNGs, we have birthday, we have shirts, tumblers, Easter, softball, and these are just a few of these ones. I mean, if you have an idea for what, what theme is it? Fathers, mothers, nursery art, anything like that, I can go there. Fisher. Oh, okay. There we go. Fisherman PNG. Yeah, you got to dig down, Jesse. You really got to dig down. All right, so fisherman, fish. Let's see, Harborside Lobster Shack. That's a fisherman aesthetic. That's not what we're looking. Let's do fishing PNG. All right, so here we go. Now we got something. Now we're looking at some fishing designs that are starting to look some, have some good sales signals in the last week. There's another one that's adult oriented. Officially retired, so you can kiss my bass. That's a little sarcastic and humorous. Officially retired fishing PNG. So it has, you can do all kinds of ones that say officially retired fishing PNG, and there is only 28 competition for this. So let's look at that. And we are seeing sales yesterday, this month, this week, this month. And, fishing season is among us, in most places. I think we had our first day of trout not long ago here. Officially retired. That one's good with the flag in the United States behind it. That one's cute. Were you looking for fishing or just like images of fish, Rose? But the officially retired, that's a pretty good one. You could look into those. Let's just try fish. Actually, let's go to, clip art PNG, that's where we're at. Let's do fish. Summer related fish, okay. And here we're bringing up a lot of the same ones. Fish Fear Me. Pawpaw of the big one. All right, let's do summer fish designs and see what we get. Nothing. Let's do summer fish. Again, nothing. It doesn't mean it's not there. It just means that I am not finding it right now. And you know what? Let me go to eRank and let's see what kind of searches people might be doing. Real women fish. Absolutely. I have those. Those are always good ones. And we can search for some of these. Search for some of these in eRank just for their numbers. Let's look at that one over here too. Real women fish. And see, I'm not seeing a lot of, here we go, women fish. We go real girls fish. You got that one, 32 listings, 748 competition. So that one's pretty good. Could go with that. Women fishing PNG. Okay, so I was just not asking it for the right things. Now we're looking. Now we're somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Fishing Queen. There we go. That one is a real sparkly, girly design. I get frustrated with them too, believe me. Believe me. This one's in 20 plus carts. So, real girls fish. That is a great type of design to look at with the fish and the sunglasses. You could change out the sunglasses, the hat, the colors, and, really make your own designs. I think so. I'm pretty sure we did the women fishing. Oh, camping. Yes, I think it was. It all runs together for me some days too, Jesse. I have to go back and look through our archives some days to make sure I don't give a very similar prompt. It's crazy. This one with the skull, the skeleton riding it, that one was creepy. This one's kind of cute. Again, real girls fish. It's got the banner, the background. That one's nice. And we're looking at last week, this week, last week. How about this one? Whoops, where are we? There we go. This is the creepy fish. But skeletons and that kind of stuff are popular. As you can see, it's had 6 views. Fish don't wear sunglasses. That is silly, but what are you gonna do? Um, but this is creepy, but it's kind of cute too. So, um, but as a general rule, Rose, um, fishing, fishermen, that type of design is what I would call an evergreen design. And those things are always popular because people always fish. Um, it's just, sports, any kind of sport is an evergreen. People will buy that year round. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, as long as you're putting out good designs and, you can make sales. Here's one. Here is Christian related and fish, which I really like. This is cute. God says I am. And we have 9 fish, and then we have 9 Bible verses with a an affirming word that matches up to that Bible verse. So something like this is really cute. And it's showing an average of 21 sales a month. So that is really nice. And that's a really good, cool way to do something. You take 2 niches that are always evergreen, put them together, and see where you go with it. This took Christian, religious, spiritual, and added in fish and animals or sports, and so you get a lot of different people finding your products when you mix and match your niches. Okay, here's one. We've got fishing hair, don't care. Um, Again, 7 views in the last 24 hours. That one's good. I like this one. It has the fish and the sunglasses and the bandana. And I believe I have a head in the Canva frames that I listed for you guys in the free Canva frames in the classroom, where you could grab a head like this, but I think it might be a skeleton head. Either way, you can replace the glasses and the bandana and stuff like that to make designs like this very quickly, very quickly. All right, and let's see what else before we call it a day. We got lucky. I don't see any baby messages yet. So, yay us. We made it through the hour. Here's one, fishing PNG for women. There's another one, 40 ounce. Yep, I can look at that real quick. Um, Here's one. It's just some bobbers and a sign, and it says name. That would be good. That would be nice because you could just sell it and they can add their own name to it. It's in 6 carts, so that's kind of nice. More for a kid's design. And let me just real quick, 40-ounce tumbler wrap. Let's just take a look at some of those real quick. All right, we've got a bit of a mess, but doing my best. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So right away, that's telling me that the Highland cows are still popular. Yes, it will be. I'll list it as a replay in the classroom then. And welcome back. Um, but yeah, the Highland cows, and then humorous sayings related to, I guess, mental health, you would say. Um, They're pretty popular still. Floral Cow 40-ounce tumbler wrap PNG. That is the keyword or long tail keyword that was searched for. We have 405 competition, but we are seeing some pretty darn good sales signals. So let's take a look here at what's been happening. Junk Journal, I'll try and bring them up real quick. Yep, digital junk journal pages, absolutely. And here we go. Here's 28 sales a month today, 15 sales a month yesterday. This, I'm not real sure. Is this a Floral Cow? Okay, I guess you could say that. It's the steer skull with flowers, and that looks really nice. Just the white, the black and white. I really like that. Um, but that's today, this week, last week, this week. So the 40 ouncers, brushstrokes, I mean, I think they are. People are still buying them. People are still making them. Again, it's a trend though. You know, one day it will be great and the next day it won't be. So there's really, it's really hard to determine. Um, you just have to watch and see. Let's see here. Let's look for brushstroke PNG. Let's see what we're getting here in eRank. We'll pop back over here quick while that's doing that. And then, of course, we have Easter tumbler wraps, but you know that they're the coquette bow. I don't know. I'm so over the coquette bow, but people are still buying them. So you do what you got to do and make them. I mean, I think Highland cows are absolutely adorable, but I am so tired of making Highland cows. So, but it is what it is. 40-ounce butterfly tumbler wrap. Butterflies, again, they are an evergreen. Uh, they are evergreen. And I'm looking right here at one of these brushstroke panels on a 40-ounce, and that's showing 19 sales this month. So I'm going to say brushstrokes are still popular. And even those, I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of making them. But, you do what you got to do. You just make what they're buying, not what we want to make. Let's look here. Yeah, 7 sales this month. Today was the last one. 14 sales this week, 13 sales today. And again, they're butterflies. So that is expected. Look, here is another one of those simple black and white wraps. And I really like these. The minimalist in me just adores these. Just the plain black and white wraps. Those look so cool. I mean, I might be one of the only people who think that, but it is what it is. But yeah, butterflies, you can't go wrong there. And let's see, brushstroke PNG. It's telling me less than 20 searches a month. However, March had 110. So I am too. I am so ready to move to fall and Halloween soon. It won't be long until we can do that. All righty. And then let's do one last search for junk journal page. Okay. And these are all, well, that's not, you know what? Let's go out here. Let's leave that one. Product types. Let's go here. Junk journal. Okay. And these are all digital, just so you know, even though it might not look, they're supposed to be all digital. Let's put it that way. The Lilac Dreams. I put a prompt up for the Lilac junk journal page the other day because I had seen in here it had jumped up really quickly. So that one is good. Midjourney. For junk journal pages, there's nothing better than Midjourney. Nothing does the aged and rustic and grungy and shabby look like Midjourney does. It just excels at that type of image, I think. Um, I love Chrome. I use Chrome for almost everything. And while I can get a lot of the same looks from Midjourney and Chrome, I am still struggling. Oh, yeah, we could do that because now we're not doing Insight Factory every week because every week we get the same stuff. There is a lot of competition for junk journals, but you can still sell junk journal um, products. There's always going to be people out there selling 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I mean, it happens in clip art, it happens in Tumblr wraps, it happens in every niche out there. That doesn't mean there's no sales left for anyone else. You can definitely still make sales with them. But so the lilac one there, I don't, Anne Shirley junk journal. That I don't know who Anne Shirley is. I'm gonna guess that she is an artist, perhaps. And we're not yet, not yet. I guess she's gonna hold off. Anne Shirley. Oh, a fictional character, Anne of Green Gables. Okay. Um, that was done in 1908. So I'm gonna guess this is in the public domain now. Exactly. That's the thing. I can't stand buying bundles of thousands of products because even if I only pay $3 for them, I feel like I'm throwing my money away because I'm not going to use 99% of them. And it is such a pain in the behind to wade through 1,000 files to find the 5 that I wanted. So, just because there's people out there selling huge bundles, do not let that deter you from creating. They are to an extent. I think some versions of Winnie the Pooh will hit the public domain, but you have to be very careful and make sure the story is in public domain, the character is not. Okay. Um, this you really have to look at this stuff really closely. Just because they reached a certain age doesn't mean that it's free reign. There might be certain versions of Winnie the Pooh, but they, like with Mickey Mouse. When Mickey Mouse went into the public domain, everybody was like, "Oh my God, now I can make Mickey Mouse things." No, you can't. I mean, you can, but we're talking all the way back to like the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, which is not anything like what he looks like today. And most people aren't going to sell them anyway, because it doesn't look like Mickey Mouse is today. All right, what's this? Unrelated, a printable shop as well. Is there any way that you have any way to have you print and mail? I have no color printer and no office supply in your town. Well, that works since you already have that shop, but people are crazy. They really are. They just, yeah, exactly, Rebecca. That's what I mean. Just it was only Steamboat Willie, the one of the earliest versions of Mickey Mouse, but people think that, oh, Mickey's in the public domain, but he's not. It's just Steamboat Willie. But yeah, people be crazy. They want all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. I had someone message me the other day, can you do uh, custom this or that? And I was like, yeah, I should be able to handle that. And the next thing you know, they send me like 15 different freaking images and then they're like, and can you have these listed by tomorrow? I was like, yeah, never mind. Can't be done. Paper Outpost. These look like tickets and vintage drawing, vintage photos. Those look good. We're looking at inserts. But yeah, the first couple pages are always a ton of bundles, and it is frustrating. But there are still sales to be made in these niches. All right. Yeah, she has been. All righty. So I think I'm going to wrap this up for the day because I'm really hoping to get a text message here anytime now, and now like all my kids are messaging me. I just got one from my oldest son. I don't, you're not having a baby today, so I don't even know why you're talking to me. I'm going to have to. So I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I hope you found some of this helpful. I will put up the schedule for next week's live, and I'll put up a poll, and we'll pick together what we do in next week's live. All righty. So I will see you guys later, and have a great day. Bye.